I am on a journey to peel away the clutter in my house and in my life. We are going to go back in time a little bit because I want to share some of the footage that I wasn't able to include in last week's video because it would have made it too long. So here's the plan. I'm going to share some of the sorting that I did, and then we will share day 6 with Bonnie and I and the latest footage of the room so you can see what it looks like now. And here's another sorting session starting up. I was using that little basket as a trash in the previous sorting, so I'm officially moving it over to an actual trash bag. Oh, you make do with what you have. I found a lot of themed items, like dog themed, family themed, travel themed, and I'll be honest, I don't scrapbook using themes very much anymore. I will go ahead and keep a few of the themed items that I like, but I'm letting go of a lot. I had to keep those dog rub-ons though. Those were super cute. And I have a black dog now, so they coordinate. Once again, I am setting aside all the alphabet. I'm probably going to need a separate video about stamps because of how many I have. And now I begin trying to to get all of this twine off this rack. I've decided I want a different kind of storage for my twine. I want a different kind of rack, maybe something that hangs or goes on the wall. This one takes up desk space, and that is definitely at a premium. Finally, I had to cut off some of that twine because it was not working out. All right, I've got more twine. So I'm going to put that into the basket because that's a good way to use that basket, at least for now. It's a temporary storage. And now I broke up a dog treat to give to the guys. And do not fear, we've got some cameos coming ahead here. But for now, I'm just going through more paper, dispensing dog treats. Oh my goodness, so much paper, so much paper. I have to laugh because otherwise, yeah, I'd probably cry because of all the paper I've got going on here. It's going to be fun to shop, though. To shop my stash. Let me clarify. I'm not going shopping. It's going to be fun to shop the stash that I have. This box was marked with something like for the girls to sort. And that kind of felt a little bittersweet. It just reminded me of when we packed up the boxes and when my nieces would come over, they would sort into different colors. Here's a cameo. The idea that was that when they came over to this house, they would help me sort again as well. That didn't really happen because they live an hour away, and that's not a huge distance, but, you know, it's not as easy as, you know, if they lived 10 minutes away, we'll put it that way. I had to slow down the footage so you could see this little rascal who decided he needed to jump into the paper box. He loves exploring, that's for sure. My little man. Anyway, I was a little sad to think back to the time that I wanted to spend with my nieces and it didn't happen. I mean, it's no one's fault. Life just gets busy and circumstances are what they are. Moving on. I am just going to keep on going through this bin. There's lots of paper in there, and I'm going to sort on what to keep, what not to keep, and then I'm going to use the box for paper that I want to keep. And all the other will go into the rest of the items that are going. As I sort through paper, I am letting go of some that have a cream colored base. It's quite often that paper will have either a white base or a cream color, and I rarely use the cream color. So I'm letting a lot of that go. Now I'm alone and back to sorting. Bonnie lined up some more boxes for me, and I did my best to create super awkward angle here. My head was in the way a lot. Heavy sigh here, what can I say? This time I am going through some embellishments as well as paper, and now we're getting a little bit meta. Right here is where I filmed the PS for the last video because I thought they were just so cute racing around and doing crazy stuff. As much as I want to watch them forever, though, I do need to get back to it. So it's so funny to watch them and fast forward. I don't know what they were doing. Oh, okay. I came across a bunch of little embellishments. They were handmade embellishments that had been made for various swaps that I did. Oh gosh, probably 20 years or so ago. And you know what? I haven't used them. I'm just going to let them go. Let them go to someone who will use them. Now, this bin is for the things I'm keeping. There's also a bin on the left that is for what I'm letting go. Can't really see that quite as well, though. I wish all of my boxes of doom were as enjoyable to go through as this. Oh, I just love scrapbook supplies, so I could go through them all day, I guess. I had to slow this down so you could see. I had this picture done of me as Captain America at a comic convention, and that was pretty fun. And I am getting close to the end of this box, so pretty cool. Here is a coaster, and why not use it? So I went ahead and tossed it over to my table. I can put my water on that. That's where my water bottle will go. Let's get another box going. Time to dig right in. And I'm keeping on. Just so much stuff. And I found this. This was my word for 1 year. It was free. And I arranged to have it. And Colt would like it. But I grabbed it back from him. Poor guy. Poor guy. So much fun to get into in here. And I keep not wanting him to do it. Hey, I'm Clay and I'm taking over the show. I don't know what Mama's doing, but she's doing the same thing she's been doing for a while, and that's going through boxes. It's weird, but I don't care because at least there's more space now and I can run around. I wish Mama would give us more cookies in here. She says there are too many calories, but I don't even know what those are. I don't care about calories. I want cookies. I'm trying to teach the new guy the ropes because Mama says she wants him to learn my ways. But look, is this my ways? I don't have to supervise that closely. That's all too close. I guess he doesn't know what it's like to grow up in the clutter jungle. Things are a lot less messy than they used to be, though. I think it's kind of funny that she doesn't always notice what we're doing because she's looking in a box or doing something or moving something around. But I gotta go. I'm out. I'm back, and now I am putting things away, and the speed is a little too fast. Yikes. Made me dizzy. So silly. There's my clay. And now I'm still going through this bin. Lots of different things in it. I've got vellum titles, which I'm letting go. Some dog themed items. I'm letting go of many themed items, but I'm still keeping some. What can I say? Lots of those vellum titles are super old. They were a thing in like 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. Yay, I finished a bin. So time for another one. I'm going to go ahead and throw some more things. Ooh, another box of paper scraps. Now, scrapbookers are kind of infamous for keeping scraps. And I'm not as diligent about this as some others. I just have decided if they are if they are smaller than a certain size, there's a picture of Cupid, then I'm not going to worry about it. I just am going to let them go. I don't need to save a scrap that's, 2 inches by 4 inches. I know that some scrapbookers would be like, you can punch items with that. Yeah, I can, but I have so much stuff. And I have no real good way to store as many scraps as I have. So I need to let some go. Coming across more alphabets. These are some things that go with my die cutting machines. And I'm using things because I don't know what the word is. Sometimes I do lose my words when I do these voiceovers. Lots more templates. I'm definitely going to do a template sorting session as well because, boy howdy, do I have a ton of those too. I apparently put lots of miscellaneous things together, which is not really a surprise because I do that in my boxes of doom, so why not here as well? You can see though that my letting go of my donating bin is getting pretty good. Pretty good size here. Here's Hugh Jackman. Woo! That was a fun concert. These papers came from a set and they're definitely pretty, but I don't know. Most of them didn't really do much for me, so I'm just keeping the ones that I think I might use and letting the rest go. Coming across paper pads. I probably need to go through paper pads. I've actually done that once where you go through the pad of paper and tear out the ones that you are not going to use and donate those or do whatever you do with them, and then you keep the rest. But it's probably time to do that again. Now, here's a little break. I looked up and it was snowing. Snowing! Come on, weather, it's April. Why are you doing this to me? Ouch! Colt just scratched my head. That boy, I tell ya. Trying to do a voiceover here, buddy. And now he is trying to get into the tree. I've gotten a box for the garbage because obviously having a trash bag did not work out for me. And here I came across a receipt. This journal that I got at Bath and Body Works was from 1996. I did use 2 pages in it. I just tore those pages out, and it's going off to donation as well. We are down to a bunch of little bits in this box. But fear not, there are more boxes to come. Whoa, yeah, I just have so much stuff. One thing that was interesting in this box was that I came across things that I know came off of a page, like I hadn't adhered it enough to the page. So I'm kind of setting those things aside with the other unfinished pages, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure that stuff out as the pages end up going into different albums. I've come across several envelope templates, and I don't really use them. I've never really used them. So I saved a couple, and I'm hoping that I will use them now, but if not, they will go down the road as well. I just saved a couple of the shapes that I really like. You can see that this box of stuff that I'm keeping is really overflowing at the moment, and Colt just took an ink pad. But he spit it out again. Honestly, this boy's antics just crack me up. In other news, I am doing this voiceover while Colt is in his new crate. He really was crate trained, apparently. The shelter told me that he was. Bonnie helped me get the sides to stay up yesterday while she was here, so yay for that. And it was on top of a box, and he was pawing at it all morning, so I was like, okay, and I just set it down, and I thought maybe he's just being curious because he got his body half in. No, after it took him like 2 minutes, and then he was all the way in and pawing at the bedding at the bottom to make his little nest, as he likes it. And now he's been going in and out of there all day, so yeah, he's got a little crate. Okay, I had to pause to show this magnet dedicated to shopping. That is being donated. I don't need that anymore. I'm trying to live a different life. Let's enjoy what I have instead of trying to bring a ton of new stuff in. Now, that box is a decorative box, as you can see. It says do what makes you happy, and it has the aqua and pink, which are the 2 main colors outside of black and white, of course, that are the staple of my scrapbook room. But I decided to set that aside and see how I felt, and I'm okay with letting that box go as well. The sentiment is absolutely lovely. I would be fine having maybe a picture of some sort that said something similar, but the box just takes up space, and so I'm going to let that go. And now we are embarking on stamps. I have so many rubber stamps that I have collected over the years. It's like a little window of my life and how my interests have changed over the years. Stamps themselves have changed a lot over the years. There used to be a lot of wood stamps. Wood used to be the main kind, and then that kind of developed to cling stamps, which is the rubber that goes on the wood, but you put it on a block. Here are a bunch of big background stamps, and I was initially thinking I will let that that one that looks like a rolling pin go, but it was so unique I couldn't. It'll probably go in a future one, but I do want to use it. I want to try using that thing just for fun. So I'm finally after switching from box to box to box, I decided, okay, this is going to be the box where I put the stamps I'm keeping. But I did let go of probably 75% or even more. So I'm pretty happy with that ratio. But anyway, about stamps. So there was the cling, and then now there's the photopolymer, which people really love, including me, because you can see where you are actually stamping. It's nice to have that confidence that you are stamping where you intended. And now I'm starting to go through this bag a little bit. I think at one point I just decided, no, I'm going to let future me deal with the rest of that. And I kind of did that anytime I came across papers, just random papers that need to be sorted. Future me is going to have to deal with that. She is not going to be happy about it, but she will deal with it. What I want her to remember is that the point of me doing that, setting this stuff aside, is because right now my time is better focused on going through the stuff for the scrap room. So anything that's not really scrap room related is just going to have to wait. And here we have more clear bins. Yay! What can I say? My butterfly heart sure loved it. I got a bunch of these so I could really get into the micro organizing. There are bins for tags and labels and pocket page cards and borders and buttons. And the list goes on and on. I had surrounded myself with all of these bins, and it is helping me sort through stuff and get it done. But oh boy, did it make a mess. So when Bonnie arrived, I believe this was before day 5, when she arrived on day 5, I said, so I want you to know that it looks worse than it is. Because she walked in and there are bins scattered everywhere. There's like 5 boxes of stuff that was ready to be sold or donated. But the good news is that was pretty easily easily, I say easily, but she was the one who carried the boxes out to the kitchen for me, bless her heart. She has just been a lifesaver in every single room that she has helped with, and she helps me even in rooms that aren't scheduled to be done for the day. I just don't know how to thank her enough, so please go watch her videos. I will link them in the description so you can check her out. I know a lot of you are already watching her or are subscribed to her channel, but if you haven't watched any of her videos, please go ahead and visit, at least to see her side of the whole scrapbook room saga. I love that she is able to get those wider shots of the room, and you know, I am just busy trying to make sure that I'm not getting too awkward of a shot of my butt, but but she is giving you all the views that you need. Not of my bottom though. This voiceover is kind of getting away from me. So let's move on, shall we? Oh, I'm going through lots and lots of little bins and just things that I had already decided I was going to keep, but we hadn't really worked on storage yet. So I'm going through there and I'm finding dimensional items. Those are going to have their own separate storage as well. This is going to be epic when I scrapbook in this room now, because I am going to have so many options that I won't know what to do. and I'm excited for that problem. I'm very excited about that problem. As I did my sorting, I also found that I was coming across items that I like but have had for a while and would really like to just use up quickly. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep one of these clear bins on my desk with items like that, just so I can have it there right at hand. With this footage, I am starting at my new sorting station, and I really like it. It is a little claustrophobic. I should have moved it just a few inches to one side, but it does work. It's great. Really, it's fine as soon as I sit down. I should clarify that. I'm fine as soon as I sit down. It's just tight when I try to get in. So I am going through more stuff. I found this little book that I had originally thought I would use to document the creation of my beautiful front garden at my other house. And I just don't want to use that notebook for that story. So I pulled the photos out. There were only a couple that were in there already. And I'm just going to go ahead and donate that notebook. And I'm just going through. I have now these cute little, I don't know how to describe them. I will take a picture so you can see. It's part of the whole micro-organizing. And I'm just putting things into different categories like floral. And I have kind of a non-floral. I might divide those up further, but we'll see how that goes. I might get a few more of these containers because I really like them. But you know, I need to create a few pages before I fully make that decision. That reminds me of something else I wanted to mention. You might have noticed that a lot of my bins have price tags on them, and that is because of my habit to get a storage solution and then be all, well, I need to make sure that it works, and then if it doesn't work, I can take it back and it has the tag still attached. Well, I mean, it's been plenty long enough. I think I can take those off. I originally had boxes or bins, I guess, from IKEA, and they fit the entire box, so there was no way to really know what was in them if they weren't labeled. But I am a very visual person, so I really like to see what is in the box. So these bins were a little bit of a happy-ish medium because there's a part of the bin that you can't see through, but it doesn't go all the way to the top, so you can usually see something poking out of it. I do still need to put the label on the bin. That's going to make things a lot easier, and I have labels for them. This box here is full of stuff that I got when I did direct selling. I sold candles. At one time I sold scrapbook supplies, but I'm out of the direct selling business. This is all gonna go. And now it's time for the magazines. In Bonnie's latest video about my scrapbook room, she mentioned that she was hoping I did some magazines. So I thought, well, I guess it's time to actually do that. And I'll be honest, the friend who helped me with Clutter Mountain has suggested that I let magazines go. Now, there I have a stack of romance writing magazines from my short romance writing career. That ended because I realized I was getting carpal tunnel because I had a day job as a writer and then I was writing at night, and it was too much for my poor hands to take. I let it go basically with the thought that I could return to it after I retire, maybe. We'll see. My attention span may not allow that. Once I had them all piled together, I thought maybe I should do one of those things where I put it in a box, leave it for 6 months, and then see. But when I got back to the box later, I was like, you know what? It's okay. I will be okay. I'm going to let them go. Here's a magazine, and I didn't know why I had it until I pulled it out and realized it's signed by Nora Roberts. So that's why I had it. Along with all of the writing magazines and romance reading magazines, I found a collection of comic books. So those are going to go to my comic book area, which is in my spare bedroom. There were also a bunch of scrapbooking magazines, and I let go of a bunch. Not all of them. I'm going to have to let them go in stages. I don't know why I'm this way. It's just a little bit easier sometimes for me to let go of things a little at a time. Here are those little organizing bins I was talking about. They're white, but the good news is that the items will stick out above it, so I'll be able to see. I'm also going to put my labels on that as well. And before I forget, after I finished my sorting session for the day, I got on Facebook to check something, and the first thing that popped up was someone in one of my scrapbooking groups saying, "Hey, I am looking for scrapbooking magazines. It doesn't matter how old they are." So I sold a bunch of scrapbooking magazines. Yay! Not for much. It's all good. But, you know, someone's going to get them and she will enjoy them. And I'm glad that I can help her out. And speaking of people who want my supplies, I've gotten several comments of people asking if I am selling. And I'm willing to attempt this. But if you have any ideas for how would be the best way to do it, make a video where I just kind of pan across things. I don't really know. Maybe I could make boxes where people tell me, okay, I'm interested in stamps, or I'm interested in paper, or I'm interested in embellishments, and I just stuff the box full of that. Let me know. I want to get the stuff that is going out of the house. It is taking over my kitchen table, and I need it to go away very fast. My introverted soul is kind of shying away from the whole yard sale idea, but I do want to donate whatever is left. And I've got some great ideas from people down in my comments, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm reaching out to a couple places to see if they are interested in whatever is left. Okay, enough about that. I need to talk about how I kind of hit burnout this week. I did quite well up through week 5, but something happened after that, and I was just like, oh, it's too much. And I think that's just how things go. I mean, you keep going and you try and you work at it, and then you kind of get overwhelmed, and that's pretty much what happened. So I didn't work on sorting as much between weeks 5 and 6. This is actually one of like maybe 2 or 3 sorting sessions I did during that time. But I didn't do a huge amount. I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed in myself, but here's the thing. You can only go at the pace you can go. If things are getting difficult and you need to take a break, then by all means take a break. I think one of my problems with my work in the master bedroom is that I really needed a break before I started working on that. But decluttering is like anything else. You learn as you go, and sometimes you push yourself too much. Just remember that it's part of the process, and it's okay to take a break. It's okay to realize that you're overwhelmed. The key for me is coming back when you are ready. And we are at day 6. Yay! Obviously, I needed a bit of pet therapy to start out my day. Colt got into more great antics, so make sure that you check out Bonnie's video at A Beautiful Mess Extreme Cleaning. I will link to the first 2 parts that are on her channel and also just directly to her channel so you can check her out. She is great and I love the work she does, not just for me. It's always great to see her turn chaos into order, which is what she did in this room, that's for sure. My apologies that you can't totally see what I am doing here because some of the stuff in the front is blocking the back. But again, I'm just going through and I'm micro-organizing, grabbing something from the pile and putting it into one of my smaller bins. I wanted to talk about a comment that someone made on my last video, and that is that scrapbook as a hobby is really waning. In the past, that has definitely affected my buying decisions because I thought, well, you never know if all the manufacturers will close and you won't be able to get the stuff. I know I'm not the only one who has done this in the past. I have been on some scrapbooking message boards and several people have expressed a similar sentiment. It certainly doesn't help when each year it seems like a few more companies close. I have heard of 2 companies that are closing just in the past 3 months or so. But I'm at more of a place where I feel like it's just going to be like any other hobby. Like every hobby kind of ebbs and flows. It seemed like sewing was really big when I was young. It seems like it's not as popular now as maybe it was then, but it's still around. You can still get fabric and patterns and lots of other things that go along with sewing. I feel like scrapbooking is the same way. It may not be around in the way that it was in, 2005 or whenever that heyday was, but you can still get items. They are still available. Might not be from as many different companies as it used to be. The truth is, I have a lot and I do not need to shop for any more anytime soon. I'm going to work on being happy with what I have and also on recognizing that what I have is a lot. I just realized that National Scrapbook Day is coming up. It's the first Saturday in May. That is also Free Comic Book Day. So 2 of my big interests go to war on that day. I've tried to split the day in the past. It usually ends up me not being happy either way. Oh, maybe I should just take Saturday for comics, Sunday for scrapbooking. I don't know. On a side note, it's a bit wild to me that it's going to be May in a couple weeks. I don't know where this year has gone. I guess to my grief, but wild. One thing I was really glad to see is the way that the boys reacted to the new space in this room. Now, Colt gets into everything. He gets into everything he can in every room he can. But even Clay seemed more happy about staying in the room as opposed to when it was a big old hoarded mess. And he and Cupid would just would endure me in there and would try to get me to come back out again so we could all just sit back on the couch and be cozy together. I loved seeing Clay be content to chill on the couch not the couch, the bed that is underneath my desk. Now I need to decide at some point if I want to make that an extra wide bed so they can both share, because Colt does like being next to Clay. Or am I going to do some other configuration? I will think about that for a bit, and then we shall see. We are back to the magazines on the screen, and this reminds me, I forgot to finish my story about my friend who helped me pack boxes to move here 5 or 6 years ago, or whenever it was. And even at that time, she was like, you know, do you really need all these magazines? And I was like, yes, I need every single one. And yeah, she asked me that again. I can't remember when. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I still want them. And it just kind of planted the seed. And that's something that bore fruit. It took a while. It took a good long while. But eventually I was like, you know, I have not had these magazines accessible in forever. And it has not been the end of the world. I didn't let go of everything, but I let go of a bunch. And I'm planning to let go of a bunch more. I know that there are probably a couple more boxes of magazines in Mount Doom, which is the laundry room, which is right behind. Like if I were to stand up where I am, turn around, do a 180 and walk forward, I would be walking into the laundry room, and that's where I've got just a ton of boxes. You know how in a video game, if it's a fighting game, there's always like a boss fight, like you build up, you encounter all these other people that you have to fight, but at the end there's like the big boss and you have to fight him, and that's what Mount Doom is. It's the big boss that I'm going to be fighting at some point. I do expect it to be my biggest decluttering challenge, at least for round 1. We are still in round 1. I've already planted the seed there because there are so many boxes in there. I know I'm going to have to get rid of 80 to 90% of what's in them. And that is going to be very, very, very hard, as you might imagine. So yeah, working on building up my decluttering muscles between now and then. But even now, I've come a long way from where I started. Baby steps. If you are new here, welcome. I do my best to bring you quality content at very awkward angles. And yeah, case in point right here. If you're not new here, I hope you can appreciate the fact that this one is at least awkward in a different way. I moved the camera so that it was facing more into that basket, which is what I was going through. There's just lots of little miscellaneous bits and bobs in here. A bunch of paper, some stamp sets, some thread. Yeah, just lots of miscellaneous bits. I'm about to come across a packet of paper because I need more paper in my life. Kidding, of course. I have so much paper, I can't even believe it. Oh, no. First we got a bunch of stamp sets. And Colt jumping in and out of frame. He sure loved crawling around the piles to get to me. And he also enjoyed sliding under my chair to get into the laundry room. For I don't know why, just because it was blocked off, and if it's blocked off, he has to go see what that's all about. Now we are at the pattern paper, and I've got a little box that I'm putting paper that I'm keeping on, and there's also a stack of paper that I am selling or donating. I wish that I could say that this was the end of the paper, but I'm pretty sure there is another entire box full in Mount Doom somewhere. But that's a problem for future me. Next, I am going through die cuts. I was basically just going through whatever box or bin Bonnie would set in front of me. That worked pretty well for us. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really like working with Bonnie, and it's always great to visit and chat with her. If we do this together long enough, she might be able to sort boxes for me. Wouldn't that be nice? We are getting down to the wire. This is a box that Bonnie gathered for me, and I just went through it and tried to to sort things out. I had a little Avengers bag that had some memorabilia, or not memorabilia, with stuff that I needed to move to different rooms. We finally set up a tote for that, so that is why I'm tossing things in this direction off screen. I had come across this red bag several times, but I kept making it a problem for future me because it was just full of random weird bits, and I just didn't want to deal with it at the time. But I came across it again and I thought, this is a little bit ridiculous. Just go through it now and then you won't have to deal with it again. And so that's what I did. I have some more magazines that I am going through. Yeah, there's never going to be an end to the magazines. I love seeing the boys pop their head in there. Look, my water bottle. All right, so now I am back after getting some water. I was so thirsty. We are now getting to the end of the day 6 footage. Woohoo! I am so grateful to those who are still watching. I'm so grateful for Bonnie, who helped me through this whole process. And she just gave me a bunch of chipboard, which we decided I finally needed to go through. I was thinking I might go through it in the future, but I decided to do it now, because it really was overflowing, as you can see. So I'm switching the ones that I'm keeping into a different bin, and also the ones that are not as wide that will fit in my other categories. I'm just going ahead and putting them into the little, what are they called? They're just bins, I guess. And I'm putting them in with the flowers and the phrases. I just think it'll help to have all of that stuff together so that I can find it more easily. I grabbed a pair of scissors because some items were just a little too wide to fit, and I went ahead and cut them down. I wasn't actually cutting into the product itself, just the packaging. It was great, and by the end of this, I had a much more manageable bin for the chipboard. It mostly contained things that were too large to go into the smaller bins, and why I was setting things aside in that basket, I don't know. I think I was maybe a little overloaded, and so I thought I'll put the smaller things here and then I'll put them in the bins. I don't know. All I can say is decision fatigue is real. Ooh, so many decisions made in this room. I don't even know how many. There are more to go, but I do want to recognize that I accomplished a lot. It wasn't just Bonnie or Allie, although they did a lot. I did a lot of work too. And it's important to recognize the work that you do. All right, let's go with the results. We're going way back to the beginning. Here's where this room started. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at this. And here we are today after day 6. This is how the room looks right now. I am loving it. I love it so much. And there's this guy in the frame. He just got a new hairdo. He got his hair trimmed for our pictures.